All right, I hope you can see my screen. I hope you can see my screen. So this is where we left it at in terms of this story and probably the summary around it. And Claudia, the 4-year-old dictator. Remember this conversation? And so we had a case study on this little girl, and the mother wants to move on, and then there's Kemani who comes, and this baby doesn't want to hear any of it. And it's just a fear of children losing their parents. And so before you start dating, this is the checklist that you need to have. I mentioned this yesterday. You need to think about your own needs. You need to think about what your child needs. And then you also need to think about what your partner needs in terms of the person you're dating. And when it comes to your child needs, remember the needs vary in terms of your child's personality, in terms of your child's previous experiences, and probably how it has been before now. And then also depending on your child's age. Yeah, children who are younger have different needs from children who are older. So if you have teens, if you have adult children or probably young adults, all these needs will vary. And then, of course, life goals in terms of what you want to achieve. And then I recommended you study more on emotional needs. Just go to Google and check out emotional needs and look for those things like acceptance, affirmation, appreciation. What exactly do you need in a relationship? Because most of the times, the other relationships we had before have not worked because our needs were not being met. And it's important for you to communicate what you need and also to allow everyone to communicate what they need. So if the children are older, probably if they're above 5, or let's just say they are preteen, it's important to start having conversations with them in terms of what they need, in terms of mommy is going back to dating, what do you think you will be needing? You know, so when that time comes and you're sure this is it, start bringing in your child pole, even without necessarily involving your partner, but start having those conversations. And then the person you're dating, also ask them, what do you need from me? You know, how can I support you in the things you want to do, and probably the complexity of your life? If you are the partner who is coming with a blend, what support do you need, so that you stop overdoing things that you think are probably what you're passionate about, but you're actually meeting the need of the other person, so that you don't overstep, you don't overfunction, and at the same time, you don't probably find yourself in awkward places where you feel unappreciated, you feel unseen and heard, you feel probably like you're being used. It's important to keep on communicating. And so these are some of the lies that singles believe at 40. We also skipped this slide yesterday because of time. So one of the lies that singles believe about their past, it is my fault that I got here. Yeah, it's true. You got here because of so many things that happened, but it's never entirely your fault. You know, sometimes relationships don't work just because relationships don't work. And it is not anyone's fault. Probably there were so many oversights that both of you had. Sometimes there were new things, new developments that happened. Probably when you met, both of you are financially secure. One of you lost their job. And of course, it really derailed who they are and what they thought they were even. And so it's important for you to, first of all, get rid of this lie in terms of it is your fault that you got here. The fact that the relationships didn't work, probably the fact that you're still single, like it's entirely your fault. Yeah, we can participate. There are also times I have participated in my downfall in one way or the other, but it's never entirely your fault. The other thing we believe about our past, I should not be angry at everything that happened, at my situations, at where I'm stuck right now. It's okay for you to be angry. You know, anger just comes to communicate something. I usually say in psychology, there's no bad or good emotion. There is no positive or negative emotion. All emotions come to communicate something. So it's important for you to just say, you know what, I'm feeling angry. What is this anger telling me? What do I need to do? How can I address or attend to this anger so that it can be resolved? You know, so if you're feeling angry, you should not feel guilty. You should not feel ashamed as if I should not feel anything. It's my fault that I was even here. No, it can still be your fault, but you're still angry and it's fine. There are so many emotions we feel when you're going through transitions. Keep on feeling all your emotions. Feel all your feelings. And that is one of the conversations we usually have in the Emotionally Bold Woman. It's important for you to feel all your feelings and allow yourself to validate what you feel. The other thing is that I need to prove myself. That is from your past. And so you're like, yeah, they need to know who I am now. I need to prove myself. I need to prove that probably single parenting can work. You have nothing to prove. You know, just live your life, just do you, but you don't have to prove anything. You are not proving anything. Sometimes people don't even care. Everybody is looking out for themselves. So when you're proving something, it's because you're giving people more attention than they deserve. So don't prove anything, just do what works for you. If you want to date again, don't do it to prove anything. Just date because you have a lot of love to give, And you also feel you need to deserve love and you desire to be in a family, but not to prove anything. The other thing is I can't be happy in a blended family. And this is such a big lie, especially for people who don't have children. You keep on feeling like, yeah, when I meet a single man and we create our own family, that is how we can be happy. But sometimes there's so much happiness that I've seen in people who are in blended families, in terms of even those children feel like they have such wonderful stepmoms, such wonderful stepdads, receiving love from someone that you don't deserve and you don't even know. Sometimes it can be such a privilege and a blessing for children, especially if the biological family didn't work at all. Maybe it was more hurtful. Sometimes these other relationships can be very peaceful, less turbulent, people who are humble and mature coming together. And so it's possible sometimes to be extraordinarily happy in this blended family. And yesterday I said it's part of God's redemptive plan. And so in this process, you can end up probably finding your happily ever after. And the other single lies that single people believe at 40, or let's just say above 30, is about parenting as well. I'm my child's lifeline. Some of us are so possessive of our children. We feel like they exist because of us, and it is not true. You're not your child's lifeline. Guess what? If today probably, the mental health toil takes, the mental health situation takes toll on you, and probably, for example, if it's me and then I am not alive anymore, guess what? My children will still live. I'm not their lifeline. Their life doesn't depend on me. You don't have to overfunction and overdo things and kill yourself taking care of your children because you believe you are all they have. No, you're not all they have. They have so many people who love them and care for them, and you need to leverage on those people to support you to raise them. The other thing is my child's environment. Like, my child's world rotates around me. No, it doesn't. And so you're not the only environment for your child. They have school environment which meets a different need from you. They have their friends who meet a different need from you. They have their other relatives who meet a different need from you. They also have their biological parent, the one that probably you're co-parenting with, who is also part of the environment. And so you are not your child's only environment. It's important for you to leverage on other environments they have so that you can get support. Sometimes entrust your child to other people so that you can go for a holiday alone, or maybe with your girlfriends or your guy friends, for you to do for other events, to go for other events and to do other things that don't involve you being a parent. It's important for you to remember Christ came that you may have life in abundance, and life in abundance is in all those other things as well. Don't feel like life in abundance is only this. There are so many other things that are life-giving to you. Make time for them. Get support from the other environments that your children enjoy being in. Even when they're in school, take advantage of that time that they are away, probably for those 6 to 8 hours, and just do something for yourself. Go and do other things during the day. Go for swimming, go to the spa, do something else if you're free. Just take care of yourself. You're not your only child's environment. The other thing, I should be in control of my child. Parenting is not about control. It is not. And so we are not called to control our children. We will not give our children to control them. We need to realize they are complete human beings with their own thoughts, with their own willpowers that sometimes may be totally different from us. Your child may go into a direction that has totally nothing to do with you. Your children may choose to really, really love their biological parent much as you detest them. You just feel like you can puke every time you see them. And you should realize your work is not to control your child. And even for us, we still allow our children to keep in touch with other people that probably we don't even get along with, like probably one relative. And you still allow them to go there because you keep on reminding yourself that person is important to them, much as they're not important to me, especially for our nephews. And so it's important for you to realize you're not in control of your child. Your work is not to control them. Even the ones that will come, they don't have to be in your control. It's just about you supporting them and allowing them to thrive in who they are. So these are lies single believe at 40. And then I promised this in terms of rules for dating parents. And this is hashtag number 1. Listen to your child's thoughts and feelings without doing something. So for example, if they tell you they don't like that guy or that lady, they are like, we don't want our mother to be replaced. Just listen to their thoughts, listen to their feelings without doing something. Most of the times we feel this great need to advise, to reassure, to even criticize them, to try and interpret. So does it mean you feel this or you think this, or even give them instructions? This is what you will do. Sometimes just use non-fixed statements in terms of, yeah, this is hard for you. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, this is challenging. Yes, I can see things will change. I'm also not sure how everything will work. Yeah, but let's see how it turns out. Like, don't advise, don't reassure in terms of, yeah, you don't have to be afraid. No, allow them to be afraid. They're also not sure, just like you're not sure. Just use their unfixed statements in terms of don't try to always make your kids feel better. And then, of course, kids who feel reassured by your calm, non-reactive listening presence, they will more openly express their feelings. You remember what we were talking about yesterday, the gas. They can still guilt trip you, but you don't probably go down that path. They can still be angry. They can give you the silent treatment. They can be totally sad. They can be angry. They can have fear. They can be unhappy during the transition. And it's okay for you to just stay there as a calm and reactive listening. Yeah, do you want to talk about this transition? How are you feeling about it? You don't have to fix anything. Don't advise. Don't reassure. Don't make promises. So that is number one rule for dating parents. And of course, number two, make your own decisions about dating without basing it on your kids' emotionality. I said this yesterday, and of course, this is also in response to Claudia's case study, the one that we were doing about the 4-year-old dictator. Just think about how you can listen to her and not overreact. The other thing is also make your own decisions in terms of, yeah, I'm going out tomorrow. Yeah, I know you're not happy about it, but I am going. You can't always base your decisions in terms of your kids' emotionality. Communicate respectfully to them, but be firm on your decision. Just tell them, yeah, I respect your feelings. I respect your dislike. Yeah, but this is my decision. And yeah, I want to see how this works for me. Be separate and mature enough to take responsibility for making your own independent, thought through decisions, especially about dating. Be separate, be mature, remind yourself that, what, my child is not me, and I'm also not my child. We don't always have to see things the same way and agree on everything. But make sure you communicate respectfully, but at the same time, you're firm on your decision in terms of what you want for yourself. Because remember, we talked about it's also learning to meet your own needs. Being a parent doesn't make you get sucked in terms of losing your individuality. You're still a parent, you're still their mother, but you're still a girl, you're still their dad, but you're still a guy. Make sure you're able to separate issues on that. And then, of course, number 3 rule for dating parents, take responsibility for setting clear boundaries, communicate and enforce them with everyone. Make sure there's regular check-in that will be helpful. Just don't make assumptions on everything, on anything. And of course, when you're thinking about taking responsibility, it's reminding yourself that, yeah, my child may be unhappy, but I still have boundaries. There's what I expect of them. There's how they should still be able to respond. I wouldn't allow you to keep on disrespecting me. 2 years down the line, you still have an attitude, you still walk out on me, you bang doors because of my relational decision. It's important for you to take responsibility to set boundaries in terms of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, and to tell your child that, also your partner, in terms of what is acceptable, what is not acceptable for them. The other thing about clear boundaries, I think someone asked yesterday about the other person probably disciplining your child. I think it was in the WhatsApp group. For example, when it comes to discipline and all those things, I usually think when you're starting in a blended family, still continue taking the responsibility for disciplining your own child as the biological parent. Remember, the other person needs to earn their mileages. They need to earn respect. They need to earn even the ability or probably the authority to advise and to offer insights and everything. And of course, when that time the children are well gelled in, the discipline thing will come. And also remind yourself that you will still continue carrying the bigger load of parenting even after you get married. Remember, you are the person that child depends on. You're the person that is go-to for them. So don't expect the other person to come and all of a sudden you're doing 50-50. You remind yourself, first of all, they are not the biological parents of that child. And of course, they need to earn that relationship. They also need to feel comfortable and also to gel in with your child. And remember, we talked about the crockpot. These things should be developing organically. The relationship should be organic and everything. Don't come and just make a decree on how things will run going forward. Remember that it's a willful relationship. And the way we said yesterday, there's those partitioned relationships. Keep the partitions going, and then, of course, work on the common ground. One day, the common ground will be everybody disciplines everybody. But before you get there, keep that boundary of, I am the one who is in this partition of discipline. And so it's important to just have that boundary in place. That is part of the boundaries for your partner to know what they can do and what they cannot do for their stepchild. And also for you to be able to know what you can do and what you cannot do for the stepchild. Have those boundaries, have those conversations, decide in advance. When you're angry, what will you do? Who should sit even in front in the car? Those are some of the decisions that are usually funny, but it's important to have them discussed. Probably you have one child and that child is always the co-driver. And then now you have this guy, when he's driving, will you sit behind with your child or will you sit next to him? Just have those conversations. It doesn't hurt. Preempt everything so that when you're dating, you have clear boundaries and expectations and you communicate. If something doesn't go well, set boundaries around it and just agree in terms of how do we want this to work. And of course, make sure you enforce them with everyone. Don't have one person. One of the things I usually say, when you're dating, remember this person is the one who is coming in. They have not been part of the ecosystem. So they're the ones who are trying to look for their space. If your child decides to sabotage that and they sabotage everything that you're trying to work on, then it means that relationship won't work. It will die from frustration. And so enforcing is even your child knowing like what is acceptable, what is not acceptable in terms of how the 3 or 4 of us will coexist. And so it's important for you to have this. And these boundaries, this communication and this enforcing should be happening when you're dating. One of the things I'm presuming is that you didn't just show up with this guy and then now you have moved in, or even this girl has moved into your house. There's a lot of ambiguity. Your child doesn't even know who this is. Just have that dating period. Try to work things out when you're both not together. Try to create these places where you try to have together things together in terms of that place where we talked about the common ground. Try to build those common grounds during dating, not when you have already moved in, you have settled in together, because that complicates things. Test everything. Just keep on testing the boundary, keep on having communication. Also just try, if you can, please, especially for ladies, I usually say, try even to probably just keep that relationship non-sexual until you are sure about things. Don't always commit yourself and go all out, and then you come back, you are hurt, your children are already caught in the midst of it. Just take everything slow cooker, even when you're dating in this space, so that both of you are sure this is what you want. They've come into your space, they know your children, they appreciate them. I know sometimes, like there's a friend who had children, and of course, when the guy comes, they will really act out, and eventually the guy left. But you see, now you are left here blaming yourself because of this situation. But was this a conversation you're supposed to have in terms of, yeah, by the way, your children need discipline, your children need boundaries, or maybe you need to do this with your children. That person should also be coming to empower you and help you parent better if they're feeling there's some things you're not doing well. But your children don't become the basis for which they make a decision on you. And you see, the problem is when you are already involved in sex, there's already another child on the way. Like, it really complicates the dynamics of everything. And so if it's possible, just try to have this first in terms of having all these clear boundaries, communicating and enforcing new boundaries and probably new way of doing things with everyone before you totally settle out. The other thing is bold moves to dating again. Make sure now this is personal space. Make sure you work through your own feelings and discomfort with tensions that come with it. There are those times you will be standing there, you feel like your child is not getting along with probably your partner. What will you do? That discomfort with the tension that comes with it, because that is a tension. There's the tension of, like I've mentioned for my friend who probably feels like the guy felt like your children are not well disciplined. How do you stay in that discomfort? Work through your own feelings, work through your own uncomfortable feelings, work through probably your own insecurities, deal with everything. And of course, deal also with the discomfort that comes with the transition, that there will be tensions here and there. You'll just feel tensions even in the extended family space, in the step parents. What if they don't like you? Do you just back off? And sometimes it's because maybe I'm already struggling with rejection within myself, which has nothing to do with this guy, has nothing to do with that family. I came with my own rejection. Like probably I was rejected in previous relationship, or even from my childhood. I've not healed from rejection that I went through. So make sure you work through your own feelings and your own discomfort so that you're able to deal with this situation without necessarily making yourself a victim in everything that happens. The other thing is achieve a degree of separateness that will allow you to listen to your child in an empathic, low-key way, inviting them to talk more and elaborate everything as they wish. They are able to be heard out. You can only do this when you see your child as a separate person from you. But the moment you keep on seeing yourself as your child as a part of you, in terms of we come in a set, we just come together as a package, then the problem is that you're not able to listen to your child as a different person. You keep on owning your child's emotions. You get sucked into their own emotions, and you're not able to feel your own emotions, which might be different from what your child feels. The other thing, allow your kids to manage their own emotions, find solution to their own problems, ask for help when they need it. Make sure you don't overfunction emotionally. Some of us usually feel feelings for our children. When they itch, we scratch. And of course, that usually makes you sucked in a way that you are not showing up in a helpful way to your child. And also, you're not helping your child on their own emotions, which may be different from you, as you keep on solving their own problems because you always feel the need to fix everyone and to fix everything. And of course, you keep on helping children even when they don't need help. That is overfunctioning emotionally. And of course, with time, it gets exhausting because you can't keep on doing that for everyone. And then the other thing, deal with the angry power struggles with yourself, your child, and the other parents. Remember, the power struggles will come in, especially when you're coming to that place of implementing decisions for your children. Remember the complexity of having 3 families involved. The power struggles will come. People will be angry during a getting together or a holiday, or probably things will not work. Someone will not honor their part. There's someone who was asking, what if he does that, or date, she doesn't, or he doesn't show up for a month. Those power struggles can be real, and deal with them. Deal with that anger that comes with it. Deal with the anger that comes with both of you are trying to overdo things for the child to be the better parent. Deal with those power struggles. Deal with the angry power struggles between your child and yourself. When your child probably is trying to sabotage your own relationship and you really feel angry because you're struggling for power with them. And of course, with the other parent, probably the step parent may come in and you have power struggles with them, the dynamic of your child as well. Just remember that this intersection of biological family and blended family, that intersection has so many conflicts that we need to work through, have conversations, breathe in and out, take a walk, go for therapy, do whatever you need to keep on dealing with these power struggles until you find a solution that works for everyone. The other thing, stop overfunctioning, stop thinking thoughts for your child and feeling emotions for them. I've already mentioned this. If your child's itches, stop scratching. Sometimes you shall imagine, what if my child is thinking this? What if my child is feeling this? Are they quiet because this is happening? Stop overfunctioning. If they have thoughts, if they have emotions, let them know they can come and talk to you. They can come and probably express how they are feeling. They can come and share their thoughts, but stop imagining they are feeling what they are not, because you end up over-functioning, over-performing. The other thing is also stop under-functioning in clarifying your own needs, your position and boundaries. And some of us, whenever we are in this blended family situation, it's like we take a second seat. We put your partner and of course your child in the front seat in terms of you are there slaving away to meet their needs. But you stop under-functioning in terms of clarifying, what do I need? What do I want? Make sure you are also keeping in touch with yourself. What is my position in this? Who am I in this? Which position do I want to take in this? And of course, what boundaries do I need for this to work? Stop under-functioning. Make sure you keep on clarifying your needs. Clarify your boundaries in terms of when people violate your boundaries, pick up and you're like, no, I don't think this will work. I'm not happy about this. And of course, also clarify your own position in terms of this is the stand I take. This is how I think about things. This is what I envision should be happening. Learn to have that assertive space instead of under-functioning and letting things resolve themselves, because sometimes they don't and they can really get ugly. The other thing is you can't make kids think, feel, or be in a certain way. Your work is not to fix anyone. Just be firm, be consistent, and have clear boundaries. And this has really helped us, just this thought process, in terms of we can't make even our nephews who are our kids now think a certain way, even think about us. They can still have negative thoughts about us, no matter how hard we feel like we are working, we are doing our best. They might still think thoughts that are probably you feel are not true, but remind yourself it is their thoughts. You can't also make them feel a certain way, like feel a lot of love and a lot of affection and a lot of positive emotions about you. You also can't make them be a certain way in terms of how they will behave and probably their actions and reactions and how they should treat you, how they should react to you when they come through the door. You can't control those spaces. So the best thing is be firm in terms of your expectations, be consistent in terms of how you show up and what you require of them. And then of course, have clear boundaries, just boundaries in terms of this is what is acceptable, this is what is not acceptable. Especially what is not acceptable is better, because what is acceptable has such a wide range. And then, of course, we discussed negotiating parenting plans. I won't go through that again. We also discussed the custody and the projections and the holidays. And then I mentioned about these books. Make sure you get them from the Nuria bookstore. Reconfidence, which is about Get Your Ball Back, and Leading Generations, which is a parenting manual for parents to just know how they can lead children in this global crisis that we are in. And then, of course, Let's Talk. These are my contacts in terms of the places you can get to know more about me and about the programs I'm running. On the Reconfidence with Paps, you'll also get to find out about all the events we are planning for children and also for women, including the Bold Singles, which is coming up. And on my YouTube channel, which is where this video is, you can explore and get more videos. And of course, on social at Paps Onyugi, my number is up there. Feel free to chat with me in case you need to ask anything. And that is it. And so thank you for listening to me. I'm just here doing this by myself. Yeah, and it's so good to just get to finish that lesson. I had thought initially of writing it in terms of doing articles, but then I was like, wait, like my brain just can't think from morning. I think I have so many things, and writing for me requires total concentration. So talking is easier. I hope this will be helpful. Sorry, it's coming late, much later than we had anticipated. All right. God bless and all the best to the evening webinar and also in your decision in the way forward. And of course, tomorrow we shall have Q&A.